Hey everybody, Clint Swindoll here, back with you again for this fourth video in the Tell Me Something Good video series, brought to you by Virginia Beach Economic Development. In the last video, I introduced the S in the model. If you didn't watch it, I encourage you to jump back and invest a few minutes of your life. We looked at the S, stop wallowing around in the crud, and I introduced two simple behaviors to help you do that. Now let's look at the I in the model. The I in the simple model stands for initiate relationships with positive people. This is incredibly important because it impacts so many aspects of your life. How you look at your career or your company or your employees is often determined by the opinions of the people around you. Whether or not you stick with a diet is often determined by the positive or negative influences of the people around you. It's hard to stick with a diet if the people around you are telling you that you're wasting your time because you can't do it. Whether or not you achieve your financial goals is often determined by the positive or negative influences of the people around you. It's hard to focus on improving your finances if the people around you are telling you that rich people are bad or that it won't matter how much money you save because something bad will happen in the future that you're just going to have to pay for. You need positive people around you. In fact, one of the most important decisions we make in life is who we choose to be around. An old proverb reads, "Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are." Quite often, we become like the people we're around. Based on that, we have to be cautious about who we surround ourselves with every day. Those around us have a profound impact on us because we tend subconsciously to mimic the gestures of people we like. This common human behavior is known as neuron mirroring. It explains why we become sad when we're around someone grieving, or happy when we're around someone celebrating, and bitter when we're around someone complaining. Mirroring can be great in relationships because it allows us to connect with and share emotions with those who matter in our lives. It can also be detrimental when we subconsciously mimic the negativity of those around us. Based on the potential negative impact of mirroring the bad behavior of those around us, we must initiate relationships with positive people. To start, here's what I would encourage you to do. Take some time to analyze the people you are around the most, both personally and professionally. Are they excited when you share your successes? Are they supportive when you share your challenges? Can you depend on them when you need someone? Do they add to your life or take away from it? Are they a source of encouragement when you're down, or do they mirror your negativity in tough times and pull you down further? This exercise can be difficult for many people. In fact, many people struggle with it so much they won't even do it. Quite frankly, they're afraid of what they may discover. They're afraid they'll see an ugly reality, that the people that they're around the most are the very reason they're being held back, or the very reason they're negative. And I get that. I've done this exercise several times in my life. The most recent time resulted in me realizing I had to make a change in my life. There was a person who needed to go, not completely from my life, but certainly limited exposure. The exercise made me realize I needed to do a better job of surrounding myself with the right people. So how do we initiate relationships with positive people? Two things. First, clear the way by filtering out the unreasonably negative people in your life. We have a responsibility to guard ourselves against constant complaining and excessive pessimism. When we don't, we allow the complainers to pull us into their pity parties to feel better about themselves. Remember, they're looking for someone who will mirror their negativity. And once you've joined their group, you become one of them. It's important to note that we can't just start kicking people out of our life because they're negative. If you notice, I said unreasonably negative. In some cases, you may decide to remove someone from your life altogether. In most cases, you can simply limit the exposure some people are allowed in your life. Look, if you eliminated everyone in your life who expressed negativity, you wouldn't have anyone around. That would be absurd. Some have been your friends for a long time. Some have worked beside you for years. The good news is you won't need to eliminate most people in your life because most people don't fall in the unreasonably negative category. However, you do have the control to determine whose access you should limit based on how they negatively impact your life. Limit those people and make some new friends. Find people who will be happy for you. Find people who will clap when you win. Find people you can do the same for in return. There are nearly 8 billion people on the planet. Surely you can find a few who you can consider real friends. A great quote that supports this says, "I refuse to entertain negativity. Life is too big and time is too short to get caught up in empty drama." If you want to overcome negativity in your life, separate yourself from the toxic people in your life. The second thing you need to do is dedicate time to the exceptionally positive people in your life. Go back to the analysis you did of the people around you. Now that you've identified those who are unreasonably negative, identify those who are exceptionally positive and dedicate time to be around them. These are the people who encourage you and lift you, so you should commit time to them. Our lives are so busy that sometimes we have to dedicate the time to interact with the people who have the greatest positive impact. For many people, the thought of spending time with people as a strategy is odd. They just hang out with their regular crowd of people at work and in their personal life. And quite frankly, that's how we all do it. Look, sometimes negative people show up in our life because we're supposed to help them through something. We need to fulfill that responsibility because it lifts them. At the same time, we need to be intentional about being around people who lift us. If you need to schedule time to keep in touch with friends and family who do that for you, put it on a calendar. Sometimes we have to make hard choices about what to eliminate to dedicate time to the relationships. So there you have it. 2 simple behaviors to initiate relationships with positive people. Clear the way by filtering out the unreasonably negative people in your life and dedicate time to the exceptionally positive people in your life. Years ago, I was approached by a lady in San Diego. I had just given the opening keynote at a large conference, and she had been in the audience. Part of my presentation included the impact people have in our lives, either in a positive way or a negative way. She was distraught as she talked about the people around her. I asked her to tell me what words she would use to describe these people, and all were negative. Pessimistic, complainers, energy zappers, impatient. I asked if she had ever done an analysis of the people who have the biggest impact on her, and she said she hadn't. I explained that it's important that from time to time we take a serious look at the people we allow to influence us, particularly when we feel a negative impact. I encouraged her to take some time for personal reflection on the 10 people she has the most contact with personally and professionally. In fact, I sent her a document to help her, and I think it would help you with this personal reflection. To get it, go to findthegoodinlife.com/VBED. No need for me to explain it here. It is self-explanatory. All I ask is that you go get it right now. Don't wait. It's too easy to get wrapped up in the busyness of life and not get back to it. You'll find this exercise to be very simple. In fact, it is my goal to share simple things with you in this video series. Sadly, it is our nature to look past things we think are too simple, or things that we think we already know. This much I am certain. Your success in this world will not be determined by what you know. Your success in this world will be determined by what you do. So, every step of the way, I'm going to ask you to do something to put these simple ideas to work in your life. Look, you're dedicating time to watch this video series because you recognize the real power in getting past the negativity in this negative world. So I hope you'll take the time to complete the work before you move on to the next video. And before we end this video, as I did in the last one, I want to commend you for watching it at this very moment. You're listening to these words because you're investing time in developing yourself. In a world of mediocrity, you're doing something to put you a step ahead. And for that, you are to be commended. Now, go to findthegoodinlife.com/VBED to download the worksheet. Complete it, and I'll see you in the next video.